Hello, and thank you for clicking on my presentation. My name is Jake, and my presentation is called Framing Issue, Chaos in the Back Room. Today's date of final edit is December 14th, 2021. We as a class have spent extensive time on the action wheel. The action wheel is set up where you start off with existence and go on from there. And you go on to the next one. With framing issue, you have to take a look at what is the problem. What is the problem that we see? And you got to find the perceived, with that you find that's the perceived issue. And from there you find the real issue. On this diagram I have present on my screen, it has the wheel and it shows you which direction to go when you're getting stuck and when you're trying to find a problem. When you're trying to find a problem, sometimes it is one step back and sometimes it's two steps back. So today we will take a look at that. Issue of organization. In retail, we all know the back room is a very small and sacred place, where you have overstock of the items that are supposed to be on the shelf, or the larger, big, bulky items, or things that need to be secured. In the back room, it's all about location, 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 just like in real estate. With this, Manager 1 wants to organize it in numeric order. Easy to look, easy to find on paper, easier to do the research for when inventory comes along. Manager 2 would not think it would work due to safety concerns for the staff. The perceived issue. What is the perceived issue in this conflict? And there's a key word, conflict. Moving on to the next slide, you'll get the answer. The perceived issue is power. Two managers are locked in a heated debate. There is a struggle for what is going on. Two different ideas on organization. The key is the conflict between the two directions that they want to go. One wants to go for a numeric and planned out paper way, and another one wants to look out for the safety of the others. So let's back up the wheel. Let's take a look at our friend the wheel. Is the real underlying issue mission? As you see with the wheel, power also usually falls back towards mission is the problem. But with the wheel, like as of car, sometimes we get stuck in the snow ditch. Sometimes we have to back it up even a little bit further to get moving forward. So let's move it back one more step yet to take a look at meaning. Which brings us to the point of meaning. On the wheel, it's two steps behind power. And this is where we try to figure out what is the meaning of the struggle. Is it for a perfect organization or safety? Is safety more important? Why is this important? Is it important to be able to have a map easily pulled up so you can do inventory quicker and be done with inventory in a timely manner, even a more efficient manner? Or is the safety of your coworkers more important? Note, this is retail. There is going to be 17-year-olds who are like 110 pounds trying to lift up $50 chair over their head. Might not be so practical. Or just looking at the map, it might take like 20 minutes longer to do the inventory. This is where the decisions and trying to working it out comes in play. Resolution step 1, existence. With the wheel, you always start at step 1, existence. So this is where you just do your open discovery questions. You talk about what has worked in the past, the sacred history. And you take a look at from both perspectives of what worked in the past, where maybe the person manager 1, who had the idea of doing it by paper, got stuck on a really long day of doing inventory and it took them too long and it felt like they've wasted all their effort that day on that. And manager two could have probably had a hurt injured themselves at the previous job that they were working at because someone decided to put a 110-pound chair on the third rack over putting it on the floor. These things can happen. They both talk about the pros and cons of their ways, and they have an open debate and kind of see where this is going to lead to. It's all about asking questions and trying to figure each other out. See the perspectives of one another. As I've talked about previously on a few slides ago, we've already touched on meaning, mission, and power. So I'm going to go ahead and jump over to structure and resolution. What is the final plan going to dictate of the layout of the back room? What precedents are we going to we are going to be setting here for the company, for what we're going to do for our back room? It's all about the structure is not just things and product. It's also setting up the plan, and the structure is going to be the plan of what we're going to be doing. So is it going to be numbers minded or safety conscious? That was part of the planning process to take in both sides on purpose. Which brings me to the last point, resolution of resources. I broke the two up into two different categories. One being tangible assets. So, like with tangible assets, it's actual things that you can pick up and count. So, like humans, how many coworkers am I going to need to carry out the plan? The second one I thought of is the plan itself. Is it because for our back room, when we make a new rule or do a change up, we always post it up on posters, making sure people understand what's going on. And if they have any questions, please direct them to any of the supervisors or managers on call, the manager on duty. So for clarification, so we would have the physical plan of what we're going to be doing. The other category is intangible assets. So for that one, I put time. As we all know, time is money. In retail, you don't exactly get all the time to work on a project. You have customers who come in and out throughout the day. So you could say this project's going to take me 45 minutes to an hour, but it could take your whole shift due to the timing of customers and working with that. So it can potentially tie up a couple people from who could be working, helping out on the floor, from helping customers by working in the back room trying to get it organized, or the lack of the organization could take a little bit longer just because time is one of those precious things that we don't really have too much of, and it's a precious resource. The outcome. Both managers made their concessions. There was still order, but safety. How we ordered it was we still had a numeric order, but we did make an account for heavier objects to be placed on the bottom run versus being put on the third run or the second run. If the objects were too heavy, like say for instance a desk or a heavy, big and tall chair, they were put in their own designated area. Those were put in a numeric order as well. Manager number one got to still have their order and have a clean layout to do inventory in a quick, efficient manner. And manager number two had one with having safety kept in mind. Manager number one actually got to get their stuff done quicker and efficient and was able to keep the system going. And manager number two was happy to see that there was no OSHA reports because someone got injured trying to pick up a heavy chair and falling down with it. Here is my resources that I used for my presentation. And thank you for clicking on my presentation, and have a wonderful rest of your day, and have a wonderful and a merry, safe Christmas and a happier New Year.